watching The Janchi Show.
Welcome to KAAN 2021. This is the Janchi Show, and we are coming to you all online this year. We're doing something a little bit different for the conference this year. I am one of the hosts of the Janchi Show, a podcast about Korean-American adoptees, and I'm joined, as always, by my fellow hosts, Nathan Nowak and KJ Relke. Guys, introduce yourselves and tell them how you're doing.
Hey.
What is up? KAAN, it is so good to be with you. Yep, like Patrick said, my name is KJ. I am 1/3 of the Janchi Show. Nathan, what does Janchi mean, and why are we called the Janchi Show?
Very good question. For anyone who hasn't listened to our show, the Janchi Show, we used Janchi because we like the word. It means feast, festival, celebration. And we took it from the word doljanchi, which was a first birthday celebration. So we wanted to celebrate. We want to celebrate our Korean adoption, our heritage, and all of our stories. And so we interview different people every week. Sometimes we do a solo show, but we have fun with it.
And I think we're really excited to be here because we started this last September, and we found out about this conference after we spoke with Glenn Morey, noted filmmaker and director of the Side by Side documentary. And he told us about how when he first went to a conference, how it was transformational for him. And I think having that conversation was transformational for us. And we were like, man, we really want to go to this if we can in any way. And having the opportunity now to be here today in this capacity, not just only as first-time attendees of the conference, but to be able to bring what we've been doing on the show, sharing stories and sharing our own stories to the conference to share with everyone here is really exciting, and I'm really happy that we were able to do this. So I think we should just really quickly introduce ourselves and tell where we were adopted from specifically and where we grew up at, just to give a little bit more information about ourselves and where we're at now. So again, my name's Patrick. I was born in 1990 in Seoul, adopted by an all-white family in Indiana, and I currently reside in Indianapolis. Nathan?
I am currently residing in Orange County. I was adopted from Seoul, Korea in 1976 and lived in Oklahoma. Was raised most of my life in Oklahoma. Was adopted through the Dillon Agency. But I'm currently moving to Denver, Colorado, so I will be there very shortly.
Won't you already be there?
Well, they don't know when we're recording
technically,
this.
yes.
Yeah, I know, but when it's premiered, like, you'll be there.
I will be there for the conference this year.
He's there now.
For the first time taking your picture. Year. Don't
he's currently in Denver, but he's currently not in Denver.
Paradox now. Now you
all right, KJ, round us out.
Perfect. Well, to make it more confusing, my name is KJ. I use he/him pronouns. I was born in Daegu, fostered in Seoul, raised in Dallas, Texas. Currently live in Springfield, Missouri, and fixing to move back to Dallas at some point. I don't know when, based on when this airs, really what the future holds for me. But really, really excited to be here. So excited to be a part of KAAN.
So right now, I think we have to move on to our very special guests.
Very special.
That's what we do on the show. We talk a little bit because it was about telling our stories, but it's also about telling other stories as well. And we are really excited and fortunate to be able to welcome everyone to the conference with the executive director of the KAAN Conference, Katie Bozek. Katie, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on the show.
We are excited to have you. I think when we first got connected, it was just really a whirlwind. We got connected through Rachel Rupright, and it just kind of snowballed from there. I think I was actually homesick when we had our first conversation about doing this, and she called
really putting
and
your
was
best
like,
foot forward.
Hey, here we go. Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm feeling great, but we're gonna make this happen. And Katie has been really graceful about helping us get to this point and guiding us on this journey as we approach KAAN for the first time. We're also joined by Kyle Ashley, who is a spouse of an adoptee who's coming from a different perspective as our own. But that's one of the great things about the conference is it invites all perspectives. So Kyle, thank you for joining us as well.
Absolutely. Really happy to be here and happy to talk about my experience with KAAN and also being married to an adoptee. So yeah, just excited for the conversation.
We are very excited for the conversation as well. I don't know why I keep repeating what you guys say after you say it, but that's just how we do it on the Janchi Show. We are professionals.
Listening, Patrick. We listen and
listening.
then we
Yeah.
say.
Yes, that's true. So I guess to kick it off, Katie, introduce yourself just a little bit for the people that are new here for the conference, people who may not know about you yet, and what you do here specifically in your role as executive director.
So there's a lot of stuff in that question. So introducing myself.
Yeah, I got to
and
get all out
then
first.
KAAN, like all of that. All right. So I'm going to actually take your guys' lead and say a little bit about my background and where I grew up. So I was born in Seoul in 1981 and adopted to a couple in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And that is where I currently live. I am the oldest of 4 kids in my family of origin. And I am currently married with 3 kids, 14, 12, and 9. And KAAN was born out of a summit 23 years ago. And that summit, it was a leadership summit that included the Korean Consulate of San Francisco, adoptee organizations, and adoptive parents as well. And through that leadership summit came a commitment and forming KAAN. And the commitment was to keep the different communities together and connected. And that was through an annual conference. Because they realized through that summit that, we are operating in silos and it is best for everyone to be connected to each other. And so every year since then, we have had an annual conference in different cities across the US. And that is so that we can engage in the different communities across the country. With the exception of last year when we had to cancel our in-person conference. And again, this year, we are crossing our fingers for next year in Denver 2022. And if it doesn't happen, then we're just going to say Denver's cursed and move on.
You only get 3 chances at a city, and then you got to go to the next city.
Exactly. 3 strikes and you're out.
Exactly.
So I am the executive director / president. Before me were 2 adoptive parents. So I'm the first Korean adoptee to be in leadership for KAAN. And we have our executive team, which is myself, Rachel Rupright, who's also another adoptee, and then Michael Stanley is our treasurer. And we have an advisory council that is made up of adoptive parents and also spouses of adoptees. Kyle is our advisory council member, and then Korean adoptees. We are not just limited to Korean adoptees. We are open to all adoptees. So we actually, one of our advisory council members, Grace Newton, is a Chinese adoptee. Since the pandemic, we have been working to figure out how to connect to the community without our in-person conference. So that has been more virtual opportunities. So the KAAN conversations, virtual happy hours. I try really hard to get the newsletter out on time, but I don't always make it every month.
But the blog, we got the blog.
The blog. Kyle is in charge of the blog. You need to ask him about that. He is doing a fantastic job on that. So
Well, you guys just had that blog article that came out. I can't remember who penned that, but it was beautiful and moving. I can say that much. So you're crushing it with the blog, Kyle.
Was it the open letter to adoptive parents?
Yes.
That was by Kimberly McKee, who is our former assistant director, who is a Korean adoptee and all around fantastic person.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I think I really appreciate the history of the conference as well, especially because it's a deep history. And I think, too, something that's really amazing is that you're now the first adoptee to take over this role of leadership at the conference. And I think there's a lot to unpack there, and I definitely want to unpack it. But I want to turn to Kyle and pose the same question, just a little bit about where you're from and your connection to the community now, and just a little bit what you do in your advisory role.
Yeah, so my name's Kyle Ashley, he, him pronouns. I currently live in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but from Michigan. And Let's see. So my wife and I met back in 2011. We both work in higher ed and met at an international conference in Switzerland and did some traveling together, and then kind of just hit it off. And a year later, we were engaged to be married, and so the rest is kind of history from there. And I think her first KAAN conference was here in Minneapolis in maybe 2013, I want to say, something like that. And she was looking for community and looking to get connected to other adoptees, and she kind of just heard through the grapevine about conference. And we were broke as a joke at the time, and so she literally just showed up like at the door and was like, "Hey, can I volunteer? Like, can I just hang out here? Like, can I do anything just for this?" And of course, everybody at KAAN was like, "Of course, come on in," and they basically just let her crash the conference. And of course, because my wife is like Uber leader and a personality, she's on the advisory council, like, contributing and leading, just crushing it. Yeah. And so of course, the very next year after that, I'm on the advisory council, and I'm contributing because she got me to come to the conference. And I think I've been to maybe 4 or 5 conferences, and every year I just it feels it's more than a conference. It's more than a conference. It's a community. It's a family. The people that I've met there and connected with, you stay connected with. You text, you call. When something's going down, like this last week, you reach out. And so it really is truly. So, I serve on the advisory council, the blog, and pretty much anything but really it's just I feel like it's just helping to support the community that has given me so much, because like I said, I've got friends that are going to be lifelong, and so I'm just really grateful to be a part of it and to contribute.
Awesome. I love hearing that story. So glad that this is such a big thing. Like, one of the things for our show is we really wanted to focus in and highlight on the Korean adoptee experience, because that is the 3 of our experiences, and there are a lot of stories to be told. But love that KAAN, even from the vibes that I'm getting from the 2 of you, is it's just warm. It's about connection. It's about going on this incredibly difficult, confusing, complex, wonderful journey together and being like, oh, I'm not the only person doing this. So as a total newbie to conferences, and especially to KAAN Conference, what should I be looking forward to this year?
All of it.
Yeah, pick your one thing that we should all be doing.
One thing. What's the first
Narrow
thing
it
that
down
comes
from
to mind?
all the many talented people coming here.
Besides
Give us
this
a
moment
1%.
right now, which is the best, and it will all
remember
be
the
downhill
show
from
that you're
here.
on
Just kidding.
currently.
Okay. So we have pre-recorded and live sessions. So we're going to have material that's already up and people can peruse and watch at their leisure and come back to. And then in the evening, Monday through Saturday, we have live sessions. Okay. So people will be able to pop into Zoom and participate and listen to that session. So one of the pre-recorded ones that I'm really looking forward to is a group of dads talking about fatherhood, because we are launching right after the American holiday Father's Day. And we don't talk about birth dads very often. Most often we talk about and think about birth moms. And so we really wanted to honor birth fathers and talk about fatherhood in general. So I'm really looking forward to that panel.
Nice.
I'll be there for that.
We have a film screening and panel Friday evening with A Letter to Sang-a and Forget Me Not as well. So I'm really excited for that live session. And quite honestly, all of them, I wish I could pop into all of the sessions. We have such an array of a variety of sessions, and we have sessions. So the conference, some things that are different, some things that are the same. Different because it'll all be online. Same is we have adoptee only sessions, and then we have general sessions that's open to adoptive parents, spouses, other family members.
So the general sessions, the blended, would adoptees also be able to attend the general? Okay, cool,
Yes.
cool. I just wanted to clarify.
What if they
I
couldn't? They'd be
figured.
like, hey, we made this conference for you, but you actually can't go to these sections.
But it might be like an allies type of thing. That's why I
No,
wanted to
yeah.
make sure.
I mean, I think, yeah, a safe space for allies would be important. Yeah.
One of the most powerful things I think about the KAAN conference is the centering of adoptee voices, right? So, like Katie said, whether it's sessions that are only for adoptees, where adoptees can really explore their own experiences and stories, or whether it's a session that's open but focused more for parents or spouses or whatever it might be, the focus of that session is still going to be about how those folks can support their adoptees. So it'll be on white privilege, or it'll be on unpacking the adoptive experience, but from the parent perspective. So it really is always about the adoptee and supporting the adoptee, no matter what the session is focused on.
Mhm.
That's great.
And I think we are one of the only organizations that includes adoptive parents and adoptees and other family members. And that is done very gently and with intention.
Right on.
It is, yeah, and I think in my experience, again, this is a part of what makes KAAN a community and a family. But when a new family comes, and you can always tell there's a little nervousness. The parents are always a little trepidatious about what's this going to be, and am I going to get yelled at, and that whole thing.
Mhm.
And it almost always happens that there's at least a couple folks from KAAN who come over and start talking and connect them with a session, or connect them with another person at the conference. Oh, hey, you should get to know this person. You should get to know this person. So it really is such a welcoming place, regardless of where you're coming from and what perspective you got.
It's really interesting. Yeah, I mean, we've dabbled in a little bit of the other side perspective as well. We had an episode actually with our wives and fiance a while back, and that was really interesting to listen to. So we actually have discussed the potential for having parents as well, and we actually had another episode recently that actually had a adoptive or adoptee who adopted herself from Korea. So that's always really interesting stories. We like hearing all aspects. So that's great that you're all inclusive of those things.
So one of the things that I just really loved that you talked about, Kyle, was that when at a normal conference, when people show up and you're for the first time, excuse me, and you're nervous, excuse me, you have people that come up and people that are welcoming and will point you in the direction of another person that could be helpful, or somebody that would be a really good match. And that makes me really smile. It made me really smile big inside when you were talking about that. How for you guys has it been to take that feel from what it's like to be in person and move it to this virtual space? Because you guys didn't do any events last year. It was just what did you guys hold, like a mini conference last year as well?
We did. So we ended
Okay.
up canceling in, I think, April. And then it just organically came together, and we did what was called KAAN Connect. And we had a few live sessions, and Glenn screened his film
Right.
and then did a panel as well. So we are learning, but with this year, knowing that we were going to do virtual, it has been on our mind of how do we recreate some of that in-person feel? Like, how do we create those? In an in-person conference, we have what's called quiet rooms. And it's just a space where people can go and sit, write, journal, or whatever they need to do, because it's overwhelming to be around so many adoptees, to unpack so much in such a short amount of time. And so we've been very intentional about, okay, how do we create some of that? So we have a welcome on Monday, a welcome session for anyone who wants to come, who's new, who has questions, where we can just talk, introduce ourselves, history, like anything. And then we will have a debrief as well on, I think, a Saturday morning, just because, again, it's so much. And then what do you do with it? Right. So we're going to have some online space as well for that. Again, we'll have an adoptee only space and general space for parents or other family members who want to come by and just debrief about the week.
How many people do you expect to have participate in this year's conference? Or have you have pre-registration? Or you're just gonna have the room open, hoping for
1 billion people.
Yeah.
3 people.
10,000.
And it's And
Oh my
then
God.
One Zoom room.
KJ, don't say that. I am so afraid. I am always afraid. Like our last in-person conference in 2019, I was like, please more than 5. Please more than 5. Like I get so scared. I don't know. We do have registration through Attendify, which is an app you just have to download. And actually, it's a really beautiful app that has all of the sessions listed. And when you register as an adoptee or spouse or other family member. And if you are an adoptee, the only adoptee and general sessions will pop up. If you are an adoptive parent, only the general sessions that you can attend will pop up. Okay. And then there's also chat features as well in this app. So you can chat with other conference attendees. So I don't know how many people will register. People will register, but I don't know how many will actually show up and how many people will pop in and pop out. Because we will have some simultaneous sessions going on. So more than 3, I'm hoping.
but again, I think for me, it's a reflection of our values as an organization, right? Like we don't really care if we have 3 or 3,000 people. Like we want as many people to come as want to come. And, I think that's been such a cool part of making this transition online because I think we've been able to connect with more people in different kinds of ways than we would when we just have an in-person conference. So, when it's in person, there's the cost of travel and the cost of registration and, it can be a lot. And so moving online, I think we've gotten people who maybe have been curious about coming to CAAN, but maybe haven't been able to because of the cost or whatever. So it's been so cool to see all these different folks come to our KAAN Connects or our KAAN Conversations, who, it's their first time and they really get connected. And so I do think there is a possibility that we'll have more this year than we've ever had before because it's just a different platform and maybe it's a little bit more accessible than the in-person conference. So
definitely. I assume you'll get people international too because of that mainly. So that's really great. I'm sure it's going to be a huge turnout and success. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, totally. So the only other conference that I've been to is this creative conference for church creatives and things like that. And it sounds like, Katie, what you were describing was Attendify is the app to get, right? That's kind of like your digital booklet for navigating the conference and things like that. The only other thing that I know about conferences is like swag bags and like the occasional game and just like kind of the more gimmicky stuff that it's really fun. So what's something fun that I can look forward to as a first time attendee? Is there like a mini game that's hidden in the app that I need to check out, or like a geo search thing that I can go to? Like I have to chat 10 people or something like that. What's up with that?
Virtual swag.
Yeah, so we're gonna be doing giveaways and sessions. We've got various things that it'll be at random, okay, for whoever is in the session. And we're recording this early, but we are trying to come up with different games like bingo, like Attendify bingo. And then, you can get a prize. But yes, definitely what are some different ways that we can stay engaged with people and make it fun. We are having a mocktail cocktail demonstration Thursday evening with Jesse Bowen, who is a bartender in Denver. And then we will have a cooking demonstration Saturday with David Perry. And his mother is a Korean adoptee. And he is in Denver as well. So we do have some fun things.
So we'll definitely be at that mocktail one, I'm sure. And probably
be a mocktail for me.
Non-mocktail.
It'll be a mocktail. It's just called a cocktail.
Just the regular name of it. That was going to be something, though, I think, with Attendify and, like you said, virtually being able to reach so many more people. In terms of, how you adapt, like, have you been able to implement new, different types of things that you would never have been able to do otherwise in terms of an in-person conference?
I think back to what Kyle has been saying about our values, we didn't want to overhaul the conference because it is such a special and unique experience that that it was really, how do we take that and translate that to the virtual world? And that is, again, through our welcoming, through our debrief, through the Attendify with the chat. That was one of the big things. Like, how can our conference attendees still talk to each other, right? We don't want to go through a Zoom and then what do we do? Who do I talk to about this?
Everyone
right?
throw your cell phones in the chat.
Exactly. And
Throw your phone at your screen. Yeah, perfect.
quite honestly, with all of the virtual, and like Kyle said, we've been getting people who have been curious about KAAN and never been able to attend, and now they are able to attend, or people who just stumble upon us and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know there was an adoptee group like this, and they've never met other adoptees. And so those are the kinds of emails that I get. And sometimes I do like put their email and contact info in the chat because that they don't have anyone else around.
Yeah, I think it's so unique that the three of us have never met in person. So we're certainly no strangers to connecting online, the power of online connections, and really feeling like, I have two new like lifelong brothers who I also host a podcast with, and we get to explore essentially what it means to be human through the lens of being an adoptee, and being related to adoptees and all of those things. For me, one of the most powerful things to do to connect with people is to have food together. And it wouldn't be a proper Janchi show if you weren't having food. So we actually have some food prepared. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll jump in with some spicy ramen flavor food, right? That's what we're eating?
Yeah, we are eating.
The fifth
ramen.
Spiciest ramen out there? Is that what I've heard?
That's what I read.
All right.
Oh, don't scare him yet. Okay,
Yeah,
we'll be right back.
We'll be right back. I'm going to go grab it, and then we'll eat. We are back with our food portion, regularly scheduled food portion for the Janchi Show. Nathan or Patrick, what are we eating and why?
We are eating
Nathan?
another packet of ramen, but this time it is a very popular ramen that a lot of people may have heard of. Samyang ramen, bulldog hot chicken flavor, stew type. We got this one from our Hello Korea box. And I've seen this one around at the supermarkets, and they do say it is very hot. If you like ramen, you're probably very familiar with hot ramens and spicy ramens, and this you may have even had this one, but we have not tried it. I did look up. Hodok means hot chicken or fire chicken, by the way. So
Hodok.
Hodok.
Oh, is that what
Perfect.
the second part says?
Yeah, dok is chicken. Hod is fire. Right?
For those of you who don't know, conference attenders, we usually talk about the food and the thing that we're eating for many minutes because we
real
have
hard.
to decipher each thing on the package.
We
Normally
critique
there's a story
the
going on,
graphics.
so...
But I think the bigger story is, Katie, who's joining you?
Oh, this is my son, Jaden.
Hi,
He's
Jaden.
14.
Hello.
And you are putting him up for the hot chicken challenge here.
I actually voluntarily did this,
Ooh,
so
okay.
Oh, I like
Nice.
it.
I'm
Nice.
ready.
A brave soul.
Yes.
All right.
And you have not had this specific ramen before? No.
Nope.
All ramens are good on this show. We are not particular to just spicy or any other flavors, but for some reason we wanted to try this one for everyone's viewer pleasure. So
Well,
you
it
can
came in our
watch
Hello
us.
Korea box. We're just here to support another Korean company, but then also,
You guys
yikes.
can laugh at us.
So yeah, I'm gonna dig in and
Really quickly,
probably
though,
die.
Kyle, I think, is coming to us with a slightly different ramen. Kyle, talk about what you got for us tonight.
Yeah, so I've been traveling this past week, and so I got the memo late about picking up the ramen from the store. And so I do have just like some regular ramen laying around my house, and I'm a little bit of an at-home chef, and I do like to cook Korean food. My wife and I like to experiment. So I tried to recreate the ramen that you all are having, but just homemade with a few adaptations. So added some chili flakes, added some gochujang, some soy sauce. I got some veggies in here and a poached egg and some kimchi on top. So it's like a little bit adapted, but it's I also got to
You're
adjust
making
the
us
spice
jealous.
level a
I
bit.
get it. Okay.
So
We're all
probably
coming
won't
over
have
to
the
your house.
sweats in the same way as you guys.
I took one bite and I'm
That's 'cause
already
they have-
feeling it on the top of my head.
I'm
I don't
already
even know
looking
how
at
that's
Here's
KJ
possible.
mine.
eating it. So, all right,
All
everyone,
right, here
dig
we
in,
go.
have a bite.
We're gonna dig in.
Okay. Mmm.
Okay,
Yes.
here's the deal, Nathan and Patrick. Yours doesn't seem brothy enough. So
It's said to drain some of my broth.
Yeah,
What the heck?
mine's it's a stew type, so it's not really the
you're a stew type.
it's not really the
Whoa, we're not that
ramen-y
kind of show.
soup type. Call me a stew.
Okay,
It's
first
fine.
impressions. I got a lot of
Literally, my
spice.
head is getting itchy because of the spice, I think. Like, it's like the pores are opening up. And it's like, hey, it's been a while since you've had something this hot. And
I don't see
you have
Jaden over there
regrets.
complaining. He's eating this thing like it's no problem at all.
And his
Right?
mother is like, "Oh my god, my tongue is on fire." I can't take
Jaden
another
volunteered for
bite.
this. Jaden
My first
volunteered,
impression
so.
is garlic. So I feel the spice, but I taste a lot of garlic. My mouth is also instantly salivating just from that one bite. Like that either means it wants more or help me. I can't tell.
Maybe
What
both.
about you, Katie? What are you? How are you feeling after first impressions?
My mouth is on fire. And I can feel it going down in my throat, where my throat's going to be on fire. So I think maybe one more bite and a lot of water. And I cannot believe how much Jaden is eating right now. He's going to town on this. And
I will.
Jaden, how
admit
you
I
feeling
am-
about it?
I'm feeling fine, but I'm having some heartburn right now. So, yeah.
Amazing. Ooh.
Heartburn first. I love
So
it.
I have heard, and I learned this from my
Banana milk?
biological Korean family that I met 5 years ago. When they came, they told me if it's a little too hot, you can add cheddar cheese.
Oh.
So little cheese.
Interesting. Oh, he's got some cheese.
Wow. Wow.
So
you
just
tell us after?
Yeah.
You should have been like,
Kyle, I think Nathan's got you beat.
all right.
you know, just
We're
in
over here
case.
sweating.
Well, I'm still sweating, but I didn't think I was gonna add it, and then my wife brought it up and was like, "Here, in case you need some of this too."
Okay,
My
yeah,
lips.
you say Allison brought it up, but really he had it in a little dish ready to be served on it. I think he brought it up himself.
My lips.
Khan, do not let him fool you.
Yes.
Do not let him fool you.
My lips are burning. I like that there's sesame in here. There's some green onion, some seaweed. It really has a good taste to it. It is hot though, and I'm. So I read online that this is somewhere in the 4,000 Scoville unit rating.
You said 8,000 earlier.
No, so the hottest one out there,
Oh,
ramen
okay.
is
All
8,000.
right.
Because
My mistake.
so this one is the original. There is a 2x version of this one. So essentially, it's twice as spicy as this one.
How?
I
Is
don't
it the
know.
same packaging? And
It's
it
the
just
same
has a 2X
packaging,
on it?
but it just has 2x.
Two
Yeah, it just
times.
has 2x. So don't mix those up if you ever go buy one.
A
Don't
slightly
get the 2X
deeper
by
shade of
accident.
red. Kyle, you have the
Sweating.
most. I'm sweating as well. I don't know if you can tell, Khan, but I have a lot of sweat going on. The
Zoom
forehead.
is doing a lot of work to make me stay pretty, but yeah, it's
KJ looks
basically
like
just,
he's in pain.
It's
KJ
just a
looks like he
waterfall.
is suffering from having
Yeah,
to
I
eat
can
this.
see KJ sweating from here.
and I
Kyle is,
can't,
but
but
Kyle is having the most different version of the ramen. What are you going through right now? Do you feel like you've tempered the spice enough from what we've been talking about, or
I think my experience is a little different than yours.
Well,
are you eating like Maruchan ramen? Is that what you mean by just like standard ramen?
Yeah, so it's Maruchan, but
Okay.
you know, I've souped it up and made it, you know, as similar to what y'all are having as I can. Yeah, mine is a little spicy. I got some tingling in my lips and my tongue and my mouth, but other than that, it's pretty good. So I would say I don't know what the rating is for spice, but maybe in like the 1,000. I don't know.
oh, he got us up to 1,000. I think that's
Okay.
pretty good
That's
for
pretty
homemade for homemade spice. 1,000, that's pretty good.
so in comparison, a 4,000 Scoville or something like this is, jalapenos can get up to about 8,000 Scoville. So a
Okay.
really hot jalapeno. So this is essentially like a very hot jalapeno. This is nowhere near even closer to a ghost pepper or Carolina Reaper, which are 1 million Scoville and 2 million Scoville. So we're far from any of those eating videos, and I will never do one.
Attendees, if
worse
you
than
need
a
to know
jalapeno.
about Scoville rating in history, please see Nathan Nowak. He will break it down for you year by year, Scoville by Scoville level.
I'm wondering why you know all this stuff.
He
I
grew
like
up
hot
with an
food.
Encyclopedia Britannica, and that's all he had to do for fun as a kid.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love it.
He's got the
My
Scoville
dad was a
Britannica
chemist,
article
so
framed.
for some reason I like rating systems and graphs, and I don't know.
That makes sense. You're the numbers guy. You like
Yeah.
those numbers. So,
All right.
I also
All
like
right,
to know what I'm
speaking
getting
of-
into before I eat it. So, whereas
ooh, that's a good segue. That's a good segue. Knowing what we're getting into before we eat it. KJ, you are suffering, sir.
Yep.
You have a look of despair on your
I am
face.
thriving. This water bottle here, off camera, just for show. It's straight up empty. Could I have filled it before we did this? Yes. Did I? No. Brilliant.
I did mention we can't end this segment until everyone's finished, right?
I mean, I'm mostly done. Here's the deal, though.
Whoa!
I can't
Looking at you,
even.
Katie.
Outta
Looking at you,
here.
Katie.
Katie
I
shows
literally
James
can't even
bowl.
show you.
This is so much.
Yeah.
Here, wait. Let me.
Taking very small bites.
We do not have to finish
Understandable.
the whole thing. Oh, you're getting
Oh,
into
you
the
got broth. You got
Mine
broth.
is all broth because I didn't make it ahead of time like a smart co-host. I made it during the break and made everyone else wait. So I didn't have time to read that you're supposed to drain the broth. And I know that the spice is
KJ, you're crying.
in the
Your
broth.
eyes. Watch the eyes.
So
It's okay, get it
moved
out.
by being part of KAAN Conference, okay? It's not the ramen, it's the community that I already
knew that.
feel.
I knew that's what it was.
Yeah,
Don't touch your eyes.
so this thing is really brothy, and so I think it's probably even higher, whatever the Scoville rating is, than whatever Nathan and Patrick are eating.
sure.
Who cooled it down by eating it with less broth and apparently cheddar cheese.
Oh, okay. The
So,
cheddar cheese. Yeah, that's
I'm
on
throwing
there.
shade
The less
at my
broth,
co-hosts right now.
That's not fun.
But let's jump into ratings. So out of 5, how many chopsticks do you give this ramen? Nathan, you go first.
Ooh, how many chopsticks?
I thought you for sure were gonna say
I think
Scovilles.
it's got good flavor. It's got good heat. I'm not like. I'm close to like thinking yes, this will be very tough to finish it without hurting, but not bad enough that I wouldn't finish it. So I'll give it a 4 out of 5 star. Chopsticks.
4 out of 5 chopsticks. Patrick,
4
how
out
many
of 5
stars do you
sticks.
give this ramen?
I'm giving it 4.5. I think it had a great heat flavor. I don't think it was overly it wasn't so supremely hot that I turned it into KJ. I remained myself.
Wow.
And I feel like that kept it at a good 4.5. I don't know what it took it higher. I don't know. I think maybe a poached egg, maybe an addition like that, maybe just a little more customization, and that's on me. But I'm going 4.5 chopsticks out of 5.
Okay, Kyle, how do you rate your cooking ability and doctoring ability?
Wow.
Well, it's not about the ramen. He's got a totally different ramen, you know. But
Yeah,
it's
it's true.
really about what he did. This is a self-evaluation, you know. There's no
Yeah.
wrong answer here.
Okay.
I would say mine could have been a little spicier. I was a little intimidated, to be honest. A little
Understandable.
intimidated. Yeah, I did 2 tablespoons of chili flakes. I probably could have gone for the third. Probably could have gone for a third.
All right.
But other than that, I'm still eating. So yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay, Katie, how about you and Trey?
I give this a 4 out of 5. The flavor was good, but you just have to keep eating it. Otherwise, your mouth is going to be on fire. I did stop. I'll admit it is burning my mouth constantly. But other than that, it was really good. So, yeah.
And I would agree. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's 4 out of 5. Don't stop eating. I like the flavor. The flavor is really good, but
Yeah.
just
Nice.
hot.
I like that y'all are taking the Dory approach. Just don't stop. Just keep
That's what I
eating,
did.
and then
Just
you're
Eating. Yeah.
Okay,
Eating.
so
That's why
closing it
mine is
out.
empty, because I had to eat all. I had to just keep eating it.
Sorry, and I wasn't running away to like go get more water or drinks.
More
or something.
cheese, probably.
Yeah,
More
it's just more
cheese, yeah.
cheese and a side of milk.
Baby monitor
Like,
was on.
I'm actually really
I don't want the
suffering.
baby monitor here
but,
to hear me crying because I'm it's so hot.
That makes sense.
I am going to give this 4.5 out of 5. I thought this was delicious, and mine is undercooked and overbrothed. Which
Thank you for admitting that.
For an undercooked and overbrothed meal, this is incredible. I stand Shin Ramyun. That's where I'm at. But this one is really good. I thought the flavor was incredible. The noodles were a little bit thicker, which I really appreciated. If I had done this properly, probably would have been a perfect 5 out of 5. It would have been like the right level of spice, not just destroying me while I tried to eat it lovingly. So yes. That is
user error.
Our ramen. 8 million% user error. Yeah.
So
I'm gonna sweat it out. So if you see me in the chat room at a conference, feel free to call me out for failing to make ramen appropriately.
Yeah. So while we were doing this collective sweat out of the spices from our ramen, Katie, Kyle, what else do we need to know about the conference for us newbies, for people that are returning that there might be something different? What other things do you want to leave the conference goers with before we go here?
Yeah, I wanted to circle back to something Kyle had said earlier in terms of the values that KAAN holds. And one of our values is accessibility and making sure that the conference is accessible to everyone. And that means making sure that we have ASL interpreters for all of our sessions and making sure that everything is accessible, excuse me. So that's something that you will see as well in the different conference live sessions. You will see interpreters. Most likely we will be pinning them. So when you're in a live one, you'll be seeing the interpreters there for our deaf consumers. So that is, I think, the one thing I wanted to make sure I circled back to. Kyle, is there anything else that you can think of?
What I would say is, obviously, if you're watching this, you're at the conference, which is great. And what I would say is, make the most out of the conference. It's going to be a great experience, no matter what comes. But then also keep engaging with us after the conference because we do a lot of stuff outside of the conference experience. So we have KAAN Connect conversation where we get people to talk about very specific topics throughout the year. We have the blog where we have just really some of the best writers that you're going to find who are writing specifically about issues related to adoption and their experiences and their stories. So there's tons to do and connect outside of the KAAN conference as well. So definitely keep an eye out for that, and we look forward to connecting with you in any way that we can.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're looking forward to a great time with KAAN 2021. We'll see you around.
And don't forget to download Attendify.
Yeah.
Plug.
Download that app, baby.
All right. You can find us on social media at Facebook at KAAN, the Korean-American Adoptee Adoptive Family Network, Twitter at We Are KAAN, and Insta at We Are KAAN, and our webpage, www.wearekaan.org.
Hot tip, if you just search We Are KAAN, it pops up on Facebook right there. So We Are KAAN everywhere is probably the easiest way to get in touch, to stay connected beyond just the conference. But I'm going to encourage you, the best thing about a conference is you're just kind of in it forever. So I know that we're all virtual, we all have our lives to go to, but as much as you can, take time to be engaged, take time to stay connected, even if it's, take 5 minutes before a session and just get in that headspace, that conference mindset, because you don't want to miss what is coming up. You want to stay engaged. You want to be bold, be brave. I'm mostly talking to myself, meet new people. I hate meeting new people. It's terrifying. It's exhausting. It's scary. But I'm so excited to get connected with a whole bunch of people who
Can't wait to see
look
everyone
and
this
feel
week.
and think like me. So yeah, can't wait for a great week. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
If you want to get in touch with us, the Janchi Show, you can find us at Janchi Show on all the social media platforms. You can join us on Facebook at the Janchi Show After Party. You can also go to janchishow.com and see stuff there that we do. I'm not really sure what's going on there right now.
Well, we technically have a blog. We might have a merch store already. Who knows? It's JANCHI, in case that wasn't clear. It's not Janchi, like first name, last name.
Yes, we did not combine into a Captain Planet type entity and become Janchi. But you can find me specifically at Patrick in the World. Everywhere else, Nathan.
You can find me at No Walk Photo on Instagram.
KJ.
And I am at KJ Rolke, wherever I want to be found on the internet.
KAAN, we are so excited to be here. Cannot wait to have a great week with y'all.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Have a great week.
Janchi, heyo.
Janchi, heyo.